Hey there, creative friends. Welcome to this video that is slightly anticipated, maybe, I'm not sure. I've gotten some questions about this before, so today I'm going to tell you all about how I support myself as a full-time artist slash creative person. Now, my goal in creating my YouTube channel was to just kind of put my art online, but it's grown into more of a space where I talk about my business, how I run my creative life, I guess. So I think it's natural I've gotten questions about like, okay, well, what does your art do to pay the bills? And that's what this video is going to cover. So context. I'm Rebecca. We haven't met before, by the way. Hi. Maybe this is the first video of mine you're seeing, which is kind of funny to me, but anyways, hi. Happy you're here. I have been full-time self-employed for like 6, 7 years, maybe more. I was in grad school before that, so I wasn't like self-employed, but I was just doing contract work, which maybe that is the same category. I don't know. But I recently finished doing all my financial stuff and my bookkeeping for 2023. And yes, I am that organized. I haven't always been, but I'm really proud that I am now. So I have like a snapshot of like what the last year's looked like for me. And it's like a very good data chunk to offer you to show sort of what my income situation looks like. And my purpose in doing this is just to show the diversity of income streams that can help you support yourself as a creative, maybe give you some ideas or just give you a realistic perspective on what it looks like, for me at least, to do what I do. And I'm not going to be putting any like numbers in this video, like dollar amounts, because I'm just not comfortable with that. I think most people will probably understand it. I am doing percentages, so that's what it's about, but I think it's still interesting and valuable data. Little caveat before I get into it, like obviously I've been doing this for more than half a decade. This is not something like a quick scheme or whatever, or ideas for that on how to make a living. This is like what I've done over time, but you know, anyone can do it over time, I think, probably. It's just ideas about what's working for me and what could work for you. And also, I really prioritized when I was designing my business in the early days. I'm not a marketer. I don't like marketing very much. Ironically, I'm doing YouTube, which I guess is technically marketing, but all of the things I do don't rely on, certainly no paid advertising, but it doesn't rely on like traditional marketing stuff. If my Instagram and my YouTube disappeared, it wouldn't really make a big difference in terms of my business is succeeding. So that was important to me because I don't want to spend all my time marketing. Okay, I have made a chart. It is a pie chart, and here it is. I've also got notes on my phone, so if I look down, it's because I'm referencing my notes. I broke this down into 8 categories of income. Also, it's the first day there's been sun in like a really long time, and I didn't want to not be in it, so apologies if I'm kind of squinting a little bit. I'm getting direct sun in my eyes. So I have the 8 categories of income. There's multiple like streams within each one, but I'm just rounding them up. Obviously, some are much bigger than others. I have some little bitty ones. So I'm going to go through each one just for some context and explain what they are all about. My first category is online classes. Obviously, this is my biggest category and my biggest earner. And for a little bit of context, I have taught in the past. I used to teach at a university, both when I was a graduate student and after I graduated, I taught. So I do have teaching experience. I like it. I think I have a little bit of an aptitude for it. So that is natural that I like doing online courses too. And over the past, I don't know how many years I've been doing that, at least 4 or 5, I've been creating a library of courses. I think I have over 18 now. They're mostly evergreen topics, so they don't really go out of style. They are relevant year over year. It's a lot of graphic design classes and small business tips. There's some writing classes, things like that. So just stuff that I do for my other career. I just have courses about how to do them. I have them up on a couple platforms, including Skillshare and Udemy, and they're all pre-recorded classes. So basically it's a lot of upfront work. So I do my script writing, my planning, filming, editing, publishing, sort of like YouTube, but just like a lot more intense and a lot more technical. And then they do require some ongoing maintenance. So like I'm answering student questions, looking at assignments they submit. It depends on the class, but it takes a little bit of monitoring, but definitely all the work is upfront, or the majority of the work is upfront for those. Occasionally I have to do like a course update if there's like Canva changes something, it's a Canva course. I don't know, but I genuinely enjoy teaching and making courses, so that's obviously reflected in why it's my biggest income earner. I just like it, and my students seem to like me. I get really nice class reviews, and I've like got so many screenshots of ones that I've been so excited about. It was actually really easy for me to get into YouTube after doing courses first, because I was just like, oh, it's like this, but shorter and more creative. So yeah. My second biggest category is online shops. That includes all of my Etsy stores as well as the shop for my art business. My art business is hosted on WordPress. It's a WordPress site with a WooCommerce installation, and Etsy is Etsy. All of my Etsy shops are currently digital products. I'm not doing any physical products on Etsy at the moment. And I've been running them for like 2 or 3 years, so they're all fairly well established at this point. My art store in 2023 was open year round, and I'm going to be changing that for 2024 and just doing like open for a couple weeks at a time for launches. And that's just to cut down on the amount of time that I'm spending shipping stuff, because it's a little bit disruptive to always be having to package orders just because I have so many other things on the go. So for any of the stores, like, you know, whether it's digital products or my art products, I just really like designing stuff. Like that's sort of my bread and butter, is I just like creating a thing and offering it to people, whether it's something useful or delightful or beautiful or all of those things, hopefully. A lot of the digital product stuff is stuff I used to do as a freelancer, and I used to do freelancing like, one of the things I used to do as a freelancer was book design or book formatting. So now I do templates for that instead. So I can redirect people when they come to me being like, can you format my book? And I'm like, no, here, you can just buy a template with instructions. So that's, it's all stuff that's been very naturally coming out of services I provided in the past. I see my online shops as a category with huge growth potential. So I'm really excited to see where they go this year and how much time I can invest in them. So that's category number 2. My third biggest income category is markets. And these are in-person events that I'm selling my art products at. I'd say the majority of this is from Q4. Christmas markets or end of year markets are the biggest ones for me. And I think for everyone who does markets, basically. I didn't do too many of them this year. I mean, I think I did like a total of, I counted it up, it was like 54 markets all year, but that's because I was doing like farmers markets and things a lot. So there was a lot of smaller ones, but my plan is different for 2024. I am trying to do fewer markets overall, just a couple really good ones, just to change where I'm allocating my work time to other projects. And do keep in mind that this chart is just reflecting income, not expenses. Out of all the income streams, the markets are definitely the most, they have the most expenses. So that's not reflected here, but yeah. And I'm actually pretty happy where it's sitting in the chart right now in terms of percentage wise. I would like to kind of maintain that, but do fewer markets overall to achieve that. That's kind of my goal. Okay, the next category is books. I've actually written and published dozens and dozens of books under my name, under pen names, in different genres. I got a lot of books out there. This actually used to be a bigger category for me. It was almost like my main income earner for a long time, but I stopped marketing my books because I just moved on from it and I didn't want to do it anymore. So all of the book sales that I get now are 100% organic. Just my books being found in search algorithms and things like that. I also have them on tons of different stores. So like it's on Amazon, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, Draft to Digital, which is a distributor, so they put it on tons of other smaller sites. It's in libraries. Yeah, I have lots of book projects also I still want to do. I started writing for fun a long time ago. My first book I started writing in 2013. So like it's been a big part of my life. Even before I started doing an art business, I was a writer. Like that was my thing. And I kind of looked at art as like a thing I just didn't do. But that has switched now. Anyways, the books were something because I was doing also book design work, or I guess I was self-publishing before I started doing book designing for clients, but I had the skills, so I was able to do it with pretty little overhead. And as an artist, I can do my own covers some of the time. Depends on the type. But right now, books for me feel like something I'm pursuing as a hobby, not a career anymore, which is completely fine and good. It still is a big part of my income. The next category is YouTube, and we're getting down into the smaller little pieces of the pie here. Now, YouTube's really new for me. I only got monetized a couple of months ago, and I will do a separate video about like my YouTube journey. I have a couple videos up in here right now that I'm going to work on for YouTube type things because coming up on my 1-year anniversary of publishing a video. So I'll deal with the nitty-gritty of that elsewhere. But I really love making videos. Like I'm very passionate about it and I feel enthusiastic about it. It's a delight to sit down and work on content for me, much like the courses. So clearly I found my thing. But the YouTube videos are nice because I don't feel like restricted to have to be educational or like a step-by-step tutorial all the time. Sometimes I can just talk, which is nice. That's actually what I'm doing right here. But the YouTube channel is also great because it allows me to really prioritize my art, because once the art is serving dual purpose, it's not just for fun, which it is. It's not just to sell, which it is, but it's also for content. There's like 3 reasons to do it. And I find motivation stacking really works for me. Is that even a phrase? I'm not even sure if it is, but if it is, motivation stacking is what I do. In any case, I'm really excited to see where my channel goes this year. I'm gonna keep working on it. I'm glad you're here watching. Now the last 3 categories are very petite, so I'll just sum them up pretty quickly. Affiliate sales, oh, they're also, you can't see them on the chart, but they're all like less than 1%. Affiliate sales is very small, but I do make some income off of affiliates. That's generally going to be products that I link in YouTube descriptions, on blog posts, or in sales funnels, or just anywhere I'm generally like showing someone how I do something and recommending a product. I generally assume this is going to grow in proportion to the success of my tutorial videos, but we'll see. It's not something that I have a big strategy about. It's just something I tacked on as another way to monetize. The next category is wholesale, and wholesale is a pretty small part of the overall puzzle right now. This is the first year I've done it, and I've only done it a tiny bit, but it's somewhere that I see a lot of future growth for me, and I'm really excited to grow this category. So for me, wholesaling is my greeting cards and stationery products into mostly local stores. I'm just kind of interested in doing stuff locally for now, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I did mention in my 2024 goals video, if you watched that this is going to be a year where I start outsourcing some manufacturing, which I'm really excited about because basically that will allow me to do more wholesaling. With the stationery, like I love making stuff by hand, but it doesn't, the numbers don't add up. The money's not good if you do it all by hand. So this year I'm going to try expanding a little bit, get some stuff made. We'll just see what happens. I'm very optimistic and excited to work on that one. And the last category is my smallest, and I'm very proud of that, and that is client work. I can say that client stuff is less than 1% of my income now, and I'm really, really proud of it because that was my goal. I used to rely entirely on client work for my income, and I set the goal of making the other things that you see in this chart make more money that I can live off of. So I actually achieved that goal. So it's kind of like this one's my success story. I feel really proud of what I did there. And for me, I found working with clients very, very stressful. And it was not because of the clients I worked with. I truly was very lucky to have wonderful people. I got lots of great referrals, doing lots of different design projects over the years. The people were great. It's me. I'm the problem. I don't work well with deadlines. I got really anxious about expectations. It was just, I was so stressed out by the client work that it was causing repercussions in other areas of my life. So I knew that I couldn't keep doing that. I'm a solitary creature, and I like working on my own and making all the decisions. Eventually that will come to bite me because eventually I hope to grow big enough that I need more people in, but not working for them, but them working for me. That'd be cool. But my goal for going forward is to keep this number really low. Right now, the only client work I really do is a little bit of consulting work, and then also just some maintenance stuff for past projects. It's very little. So those are the categories of income. That's what makes it my career right now. It changes a little bit year over year. New things get added. Obviously, 2023, I got YouTube in there. So I thought, okay, let's just do a little analysis of everything and sum this up. First of all, I am so proud of myself when I see what I've done with my business. Like, I've worked very hard, and I'm just, yeah, it means a lot that I was able to get here, and I really believed in myself and had other people believing in me too. So yeah, I don't want to talk about that too much, but I'm really proud. And what all this gives me is a real sense of safety and security because my income isn't tied to one thing. All of these different categories are actually just like different industries, and different industries have different fluctuations. So one year, one big company could change its policy or change its royalty rates or change how it pays you, and that income stream could start to tank. But when you have other ones that are doing well, then it's like, okay, that sucks. Maybe I can fix it, but I'm not going to worry about my bills, And by having that like foundation, I have so much space to be adventurous, to try new things, to take breaks when I need to spend time with my family. I can like prioritize random things that just come up in life, and I can be very flexible and adaptable. All of that's the benefit of this. But obviously, a lot of people do have careers that look like this now, so it's not like I'm a real weirdo, but it's obviously not super traditional. And a lot of people, I'm sure, wouldn't be okay with the level of unpredictability, especially in the early years. Like I said, I've been doing this for a while, And earlier on, it was a lot more stressful worrying about like, what if this doesn't work out? You know, there was just a lot more stress earlier on. Now, I feel really great. Still some stress, always stress, but like healthy stress. Personally, I have a really hard time trusting companies, not in like a conspiratorial way, but just like they're always changing stuff. For example, Etsy's fees are always increasing, which is why I don't sell physical products there. I sell just digital stuff. So it's just like constantly pivoting to deal with their greed and increases. And what that means is just you have to monitor everything. I've built very choice spreadsheets, like really nice spreadsheets where I monitor everything every month, make sure that all my things are performing as I expect them to. So like that's obviously a lot of management work when you get to this point. And I do have to wear a lot of different hats. Like I am doing content creation, editing, I'm teaching, I'm being an accountant, I'm a project manager, and I'm also an artist, which is like the main headline, artist. So that's kind of what being an artist means right now for me, I guess. Ultimately, I'm way happier working in this ecosystem than I have been doing anything else in my career. Okay, two more things I want to talk about before we wrap up. Number one is education. I do get people occasionally asking me like, what did you study? And like as if there was like a program to do what I do now, which there is not. The answer is that I didn't study anything that directly relates to my career. I have degrees in classics and in English literature, so ancient Rome and Greece and lit. I know Latin. I did know Greek, don't anymore. But I also took a lot of electives in humanities, so I have a very broad arts education. But what was really important for me from all of that, especially from the grad school, was the self-management skills. By the time I started working on building my business, I was already super comfortable managing my schedule, making sure I got work done on time, building projects, seeing them through, finishing them, presenting work, everything. I had already had experience doing that just from grad school. But I don't really think there's a specific educational background that would help you though, in terms of like if you wanted to run an art business or emulate anything I've talked about. But I have taken some useful courses. Pretty much all the little skills that go into what I do, like you can learn from YouTube or like small online courses or just trial and error. I have taken several free workshops with the CRA, that's the Canadian Tax Agency, Canadian Revenue Agency, and they've been helpful just in helping me understand how to do my own bookkeeping and how to submit my taxes and stuff. I have taken some free business courses from FutureLearn, which are like from universities, but they're free. I don't have any to particularly recommend, but that is something I did early on to try and figure out my life. And I have built a lot of my entrepreneur education just from books at the library, like business books or things that are kind of about self-help adjacent to business. I've borrowed tons of them. I use Libby, the ebook rental service for libraries. Yeah, I would give a huge credit to library books for helping me figure this all out. And there's no like one that was like a manual. It was just like pulling inspiration from a bajillion sources. So that's education, in case you were curious. Downsides to everything I've talked about. I did touch on downsides a little bit. Like the first couple years of building this business were very stressful. I still had to do a lot of work I didn't love. I had to do the client work and I had some odd jobs here and there. There's also like a constant fear of failure and like, what if I don't succeed? That is very stressful. It's probably more stressful than it is an actual concern. But there's also the fear of having to rely on your safety net if you're even lucky enough to have one. Luckily, none of the like big failures that I feared came to pass, so that's good, but it does happen. And I also had a lot of people supporting me emotionally, which I think is very important. I was surrounded by like people who believed in me, who were maybe skeptical and not sure exactly what I was doing, but had faith that I would figure it out, and that was really important. So you can't underestimate the people that are around you. Yeah, the whole process was pretty messy and confusing and took a lot of blind faith in myself, but it worked. And it was really worthwhile for me. So that's basically it. That is the insight into my career, what I do, and also where I'm kind of want to go with it and like some of my, again, some goals for next year, what I want to grow. I'll be honest, I did put off making this video for a long time because I've had the idea for a long time, but I do find it very stressful to be vulnerable and transparent about this stuff. Like, even though I'm not talking like strict numbers or anything, it does feel a little bit like kind of opening up my very private little clamshell world and being like, look, this is what I do. But I think it's probably good, like, for me to get out of my shell a little bit. I know people are curious. Like people are always curious about everything. That's just human nature. But I get comments where people say like that I don't know, that my content is like refreshing or like really real, and that means a lot. Like I'm not trying to do anything. I don't set out to do that. So if it comes across, that's really cool to me. So I guess just in the spirit of trying to be more like that, then I thought I'd share. At the end of the day, like full-time artist is what I say, and it is what I mean, but this, what I just talked about, is what it means. It's not just sitting down 40 hours a week drawing pictures. It's some of that, but it's also like a ton of other creative pursuits. And artist to me is a very broad label. I feel that I bring artistry to everything I do, whether I'm making videos or paintings or writing books or whatever I do. I feel like that's all of my creative business. All right, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them if I can. If you got this far, I mean, thanks for sticking around. You could like this video. That actually does, it's a metric that matters. So if you like the video, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. We can keep hanging out. And you can also find me on Instagram. I have a very tiny Instagram following because I don't know how to, like I said, I'm not a marketer. I just post art there most days. And it's cute. It's really cute. You probably will like it. Yeah, all right. That's enough from me. I read my whole script. We're good. So yeah, hope you have a great day. Thanks for hanging out. See you later. Mwah. Bye.